Good evening, thanks for joining me on this sniffing session. So yesterday I had a lot of smelly mail in the form of samples. I had a lot of fragrances I've been wanting to try and they actually all arrived on one day. So these aren't full wears because I've only had them since yesterday. So take what you will from this based on the fact that, like I say, it's not been a full proper wearing. Oh, why do you always do this, Wookie? The Wooker wants some attention. Oh, do you have to scratch my notes now? I have to do this without my notes. Anyway, all I'm trying to cover in this introduction is that obviously with the first impressions, it's a first impression. So you don't get the feeling behind the scent, you don't get all the experience. So yeah, take what you will from these early impressions. I'm just going to get straight into this. Some of these fragrances are new releases that are starting to get hyped in the fragrance community and they're getting a lot of love. Others are just ones that I've been really wanting to try for a while. I think we'll just jump straight into this one that's sitting here. So this is called Bianco Latte from Giardini di Toscana. I don't know anything about the brand, I'm afraid. All I know about this is that I've seen it being really loved by a lot of channels, talking about it being the next big gourmand scent. Like, it's a really delicious scent and people are really loving it and thinking it's amazing. I just happened to see a sample of it on eBay, so I thought I'd just sort of buy it and see what all the fuss was about. I can't remember any of the notes in this one, and I don't want to focus too much on notes. I'm just going to tell you exactly what it is that I'm smelling from each one. So with this one, when you spray it, you do get a massive hit of vanilla cake, and I find that it's actually got like a really big, sickly white chocolate frosting on the cake. So it's a straight up vanilla gourmand cakey cake scent. It's really, really sweet, like really toothachingly sweet. I think what's really lovely, at least in the early stages, is a real creamy vanilla. It's a real massive hit of creamy, smooth vanilla. But it's almost too sickly in a way because it's like a real dense vanilla frosting. And the reason I was saying about being white chocolatey is because it's so sickly. I imagine there would be white chocolate in the frosting as well. But I think it does soften out and it starts to feel more like light and airy, like there is actually a light, airy vanilla sponge cake sitting underneath the frosting. So it does feel a bit more whipped as it sort of wears. And that's how it is for a while. And it's very delicious. It's not my sort of fragrance. It's a very true foodie kind of a scent. The vanilla in this, in the later stages, starts to get more simplified and quite dry and powdery. Maybe not as far as powdery, but it certainly sort of goes into a more drier, a different kind of stage. And it's the later stages where it was bugging me on what this reminded me of. It was so similar to something I've tried before, like so familiar. So it's sweet vanilla from Montal. And if I think any of the vanillas from Montal, there's that signature Montal vanilla, which is biscuity, it's synthetic, it's almost slightly, I don't want to say chalky, but there is a sort of powdery, heavy, biscuity element to the vanilla. Synthetic for sure. And in the later stages, this is all it is for me. This dries down into an identical copy of the Montal vanilla. That's all it is in the dry down. So it's not a scent for me, but there you go. That's Bianco Latte from Giardini di Toscana, sorry. So over in this little shiny bag, I have 3 samples from the house of Rosa Salas. This is a UK-based fragrance company. I bought a couple of fragrances from them, and they very kindly sent me 3 fragrances that I've been really wanting to try as well. So there's some real bangers from this house, and one of my favourites actually is called Bonfire. It literally captures the smell of marshmallows stuck in a fire that are just melting down and caramelizing. There's a hint of smoke, but it's so nicely done. It's such a delicious scent, I can't even tell you. So I've got a bottle of that, but I've also got these 3 samples that I really wanted to try. So the 3 in here are, hang on, let me see. We have got Magnetic, which I think is similar to Poison, Hypnotic Poison. We've got Bonny, which is similar to Mimosa and Cardamom from Jo Malone. And then we have another one here called Diam Blanc, which is a similar one to White Suede from Tom Ford. So one of the reasons I asked for Magnetic is because I've always wanted to try Hypnotic Poison. I've never tried Hypnotic Poison, so I don't know how to describe that scent. I don't know what to pick out from here. It's such a seamless, gentle fragrance. I'm going to assume there's almond. There's definitely something almondy. But it's very, very light. It's very sort of pale, and It's a very seamless scent. It's really beautiful. It's like an almond musk, something woody but still really smooth. And there's just an edge to this, just very slight, as if the almonds have still got the skin on, and it's that tiny hint of something sour. A little bit of lift from, I guess it's the almond skin, or I'm just trying to put a picture in mind because I really don't know how to describe it. But it's a really reassuring, comforting scent that smells kind of lotiony, kind of almondy, kind of powdery, but not dry. But I'm really, really enjoying it. So that is Magnetic. Let's move on to Bonny. A Bonny is meant to be a little bit like Mimosa and Cardamom from Jo Malone, another one I've never tried. So just focusing on Bonny, it's a really pretty scent, really, really pretty. It reminds me of a kitchen. It makes me think of a kitchen in springtime with little touches of soft yellow here and there. It gives me this sort of feeling of a sunny but soft pastel kitchen. Like clean, welcoming, and kind of serene. Fluffy, soft yellow. It really does bring that mimosa and soft green feeling, like a really lovely, clean green. Like it could almost be a mimosa and cardamom like hand lotion. It's a really soft, fluffy, pale, approachable scent. Really, really lovely one. And then we have Dame Blanc. So Dame Blanc is meant to be like white suede from Tom Ford, another one I've never tried. I think this might be the winner of all the three, but this one has such a beautiful, seamless, clean, a similar sort of style here going on, all very seamless and clean and kind of casual and approachable and kind of appropriate for any situation. If you go for that clean girl aesthetic, minimalist, sort of non-offensive, pretty fragrance, that's kind of what all these are. But I think Dame Blanc just has the edge for me because it's probably the suede. It's that suede bringing more of a texture, really angelic. It just brings a texture that's so soft. And again, this is this sort of like lotion feel, but the suede, I think it just brings a lovely quality to it. A really clean floral in here. So clean, but not soapy. Not that kind of soapy feel. Just like as if you've had a bath and your skin feels so clean. Just had a lovely luxurious bubble bath and you're just getting your clean skin, that smell, and you're laying on under a white suede sofa. It's kind of like that. I really, really enjoy this one. Really pretty scent. That is Dame Blanc, and that is my favourite so far. So that's the third one from Rosa Salas. So thank you, Rosa Salas, for sending me those 3 samples. I'm really pleased to have tried those 3. Let's put those to one side. Let's move to the little baggie. I don't even remember where I got these from. I don't know, a sampling company online. I'll put it on the screen. So I've got 4 eagerly anticipated fragrances here, and we'll start with one on this side. And this is Althair, is that how you pronounce it? Parfums de Marly. So this is the new fragrance from, I guess it's in the men's offering. It's under the men's section on the website, and it's in that same men's bottle, like a roasted pumpkin colour. I love the bottle. Anyway, as you can see, there's nothing left, so it's had a good wear, this one. So Althair, I think, is classed as sort of a fresh, spicy vanilla. For me, I would class this as a floral vanilla all the way. There is spices in here, and they're very lovely, and they're very they're quite nicely tempered. It does have the praline, it does have the vanilla, it's got florals. I thought it'd be a lovely one to try. The quality that really surprised me and stood out to me as soon as I tried this was the same quality that this is just for my skin, don't forget, my nose, that I find in Saffenad. And obviously Saffenad is from the same house, so it makes sense that they're going to use similar styles of orange blossom, same materials, but there is a definite similarity to the orange blossom in Saffenad and this one. And I really don't like Saffenad. This has got an element of that in the beginning. It's definitely got that quality. Even though it is praline, which would be sweet, I don't think this is too sweet either. I really don't think it's too sweet, but there is just a nice subtle sort of caramelized quality running through it. I definitely pick up on the spices in here. I think it's cardamom and cinnamon. So again, 2 lovely spices for this autumn time of year. People are comparing this to Layton. I haven't tried Layton. There's a sort of a freshness that I think I do recognise from other typically marketed men's products, if you know what I mean. A really, really nice vanilla in here. There's that lovely praline. There's the orange blossom, which kind of gives it back its own identity. So I think saffronade and Leighton could be cousins or distant cousins to this scent. I can't make up my mind on it. A little quality in the opening reminded me of saffronade that I can't connect to. I find it just so not me. But then again, I find the whole dry down really quite delicious and intriguing. So I'm definitely on the fence with this one, but I do think it's a really lovely scent. Really, really nice. So yeah, that is Althair, the new one from Parfums de Marly. I'm really going to try and speed through these. I want it just to be a very quick summary of each one. So next I'm going to go to Starlight from Xerjoff. I've always wanted to try this one. So Starlight for me is practically identical to this one. This is Clandestine Clara. To tell you about Starlight is to tell you about Clara, and I know Clara better, so I'm going to just talk to you about Clara really. Although this hasn't got any cardamom in it, it smells pretty much identical. It really does. So Clara is a sort of warm, more ambery fragrance. It's mostly amber, but it's woody. It's quite boozy. I think there's rum in this one. It's a lovely, warm, approachable, resinous fragrance for anyone. It's definitely got a nutty quality. I don't know where that's coming from, but there's also cinnamon in here, so it's got a bit of spice. It's such a good middle ground autumn warm amber without being too heavy or too resinous or too this, that and the other. It's just a really straight down the middle great one. It's got an element of freshness to it. It's very easy to wear. It's the most easy reach fresh amber with those little touches of the rum and the woods. It's so lovely, and this is virtually identical. I'm not going to linger on, but I'm glad that I got to try it, and I'm glad that I'm not going to be tempted to spend loads of money on a bottle of this when this is doing the same job. So that is Clandestine Clara. She smells exactly the same. So let's move on to one from Tom Ford, Myrrhe, Mystere, or Mysterious Myrrhe, should we just say. I love the note of myrrhe. I think it's such a beautiful golden, how do you describe myrrhe? It's kind of like a golden resinous scent, a little bit smoky. It can go different ways, but it's such a beautiful note. So Myrrhe Mystique is quite a dirty, smoky, woody fragrance. It opens quite like a dirty joss stick, like it's more frankincense-y, which I think it can be much more smoky and does smell a bit dirtier, if you know what I mean, a bit more gritty. And this is how this opens up, a dirty joss stick. It's a lot drier than I thought it would be. It's not overly complex, and it's definitely not particularly sweet. What is it? Non-sweetened, woody, incensey fragrance. And I don't mind woods, I don't mind a bit of incense, and I don't mind a bit of smoke in a fragrance. There's just something about this that's lacking. There's no hidden depth in this fragrance at all. Having said that, I think if someone walked past me wearing this, I would be interested to know more. There's something that you want to know more about. It smells classy, for sure. There's a classiness to it, but it's not overly heavy. It's not a particularly loud scent. I guess it's charming. It's a charming fragrance, but there's just something a little bit dull. It's pleasant. It's a pleasant, safe, incensey, woody fragrance, and it's got a bit of a classy touch to it. It's lacking a bit of sweetness, or it's lacking something, I don't know, something. I guess it has a slightly dark, balsamic quality. So that is my thoughts so far on Mystere. So last from this four, we have Guidance from Amouage, and it's actually leaking on my finger. Guidance is kind of the wild card here because I've heard so much about this fragrance. I've been dying to try it. Definitely a lot of very divided opinions out there on this one. They've got people here that are absolutely in love with it. It's their most favourite fragrance, and others that are just absolutely repulsed by it. I think in a nutshell, it's trying to be so many things at once. It doesn't seem to be able to settle into one scent. At least that's how I found it. And obviously this is quite a short experience of it. I appreciate that. When I first smelt it, my brain was trying to just latch onto something it could recognise and then summarise it like that. It felt bright, it felt floral, it felt sort of green in places, and I just couldn't decide what it was. The only thing I think discernible, it has any clarity in here, is pear. But it's not a pear that is juicy and ripe in its organic fruity whole state. It's a pear scented something. There's something that's slightly citric about it, like a citric acid, like sour, sweet, but pear scented. There's a lot of musk, I think, in here that's kind of fluffing out the edges. I think is it hazelnut or chestnut? I think it's hazelnut in here. Yeah, I don't know, I can't pick out hazelnut. I'm picking out something strange. There's something warm and moist in the far background of the scent. I'm angry about this scent. I'm angry about it. It's conflicting. It's given me a bit of a headache. Something chemically, there's something slightly laundry, it's all over the place. It's a scent that makes me think of something you'd hook onto the side of a toilet, so that when you flush the toilet, you're kind of masking anything else going down the toilet, and it becomes one big hot mess. I just think this is not a good sort of scent. I know a lot of people love it. I think it's effing horrible. I'm really angry that it's on my fingers. I really am angry. There's some real sharpness. Got chemical toilet on my fingers. It's not good. So last, let's go to the new one from Creed, which is Carmina. Let's try and end this video on something a little bit more pleasant. Carmina. So we have a black cherry rose, saffron, pink pepper and peony. This has all the makeup of something that would be up my street. I love a good rose scent that's got a nice fruity element, a nice dark fruity element. So I kind of had high hopes for this one. I mean, it is really pleasant. It is really pleasant. The Carmina starts out a really lovely, juicy, dark berry floral. I definitely get the rose. It's a lovely rose. It's a lovely, alluring. It reminds me of Possibilities a little bit, because that was quite a sort of a dark, fruity floral that had that kind of alluring vibe. It wasn't for me, but it had a similar feeling to it. What this does really remind me of is Pink Me Up from Althair Xerjoff. That one didn't work out for me either. But it was really pleasant, and it has a very similar feel to this one. There's something sparkling about it. I feel like it's more blackberry, or just a different sort of dark fruit than a cherry. I'm not really getting cherry from this personally. I'm getting more like a black currant mixed with the rose, and it's dark. It's definitely a dark black currant, dark raspberry, something like cassis, or something you'd put in like a Cœur Royal with champagne and cassis. It's got that feeling about it. I think the peony brings quite a prettiness to the florals. So the top notes and the mid notes of all the florals and the cherry and the fruits, and it's got pink pepper. I love all that. It's a really lovely opening. But the trouble with this, unfortunately, is that as it dries down, I feel like it's not offering anything else. I've written down, I think there's frankincense, myrrhe, musk and ambroxan. I wish there was more frankincense and myrrhe in this. I think it would have really been something a bit different, had more of a punchy base, been more interesting. But I feel like they're just not coming through. Musk and ambroxan is what's noticing here, because it just becomes synthetically, not scratchy, but it sort of peters out into something slightly powdery and a bit synthetic. That promise of frankincense and myrrhe would have really created something so much more punchy and finished, but unfortunately it kind of falls a bit flat, this one. I think the quality's there for the price, I have to say, but you know, I think it works for a lot of people. The bottle's really beautiful. The colour of the bottle on the glass does match the colour of the berries, I think, in the florals in here. It does match that really nicely. But I'm glad I've tried it. And it's certainly better than Guidance, so I'll give it that. That's all from me today. I hope it's been useful. Just fragrances I've been wanting to sample, and I'm so glad I have. I think my favourites from today are definitely Althair. That one I'm really quite intrigued by, and I really enjoyed Diam Blanc. That was one of my favourites as well. So there you have it. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you on my next one. Over and out.